Archangel Michael says, "My child, my beloved, do not skip." This message reached you on purpose, now, in this exact moment, because something was about to be missed and heaven would not allow that to happen. Stay with me, listen carefully, and before you move even a breath further, understand this one thing: you were not meant to find these words by chance. You were drawn here because timing is active and the window is open, and if you leave too soon the window softens and waits. My child, I speak only to you, not to anyone else, because you have been carrying questions you never spoke aloud, confusion you kept quiet, strength you used even when you felt empty, and you wondered why your heart feels alert lately, why memories rise without warning, why a name or a presence brushes past your thoughts and leaves a chill followed by calm. Listen carefully. This is not imagination, this is recognition, and recognition arrives when something loving presses close. Heaven has been watching you silently, not judging, not testing, recording the nights you stayed standing when you wanted to collapse, noting the moments you chose kindness when no one would have known if you hadn't. And there is a reason this message arrived before it could be erased, because a voice from the other side has been trying to reach you with urgency wrapped in love. A loved one who crossed over has been pressing against the veil with your name, not to frighten you, not to pull you backward, but to warn you gently, protectively, before a turn that looks harmless asks for your agreement. My beloved, stay with me, do not skip, because protection moves before revelation, and I stand here now to guard the space while the message completes its passage. You have felt resistance around you lately, small delays, near misses, clarity that almost arrived and then paused. That was not loss, that was shielding. I was blocking what would confuse you and clearing what must reach you cleanly. Listen carefully. There has been movement around your life that did not start with you, subtle interference that never fully touched you because it was stopped, and you sensed it as pressure without a source, a tightness that lifted suddenly, a calm that arrived before worry could grow. That was me, my child, standing close, steady, unmoved, while something important aligned. Do not rush away from this feeling, because the moment you feel the urge to scroll, to look away, to distract yourself, is the moment alignment tightens, and leaving early delays confirmation that is already approaching. You have wondered why certain cycles repeat in your thoughts, why certain people or decisions feel heavier than they should, why your chest tightens when something seems simple. That is awareness speaking before logic drowns it out, and the one who knows your story from both sides of the door is trying to strengthen that awareness now. Listen carefully. You are not being haunted, you are being guided, and there is a difference. Guidance arrives quietly and leaves quickly. If ignored, that is why I ask you to stay, because staying keeps the channel clear. My beloved, the message reaching for you will not arrive as a voice you hear, it will arrive as a knowing that settles and stays, a realization that clicks into place without argument, and when it does you will remember this moment. You will understand why this message found you and why it asked you not to skip. Heaven does not rush without reason. And this urgency is not fear, it is care, care that crossed boundaries to reach you before the window closed long enough to matter. Listen carefully. The loved one reaching for you has been trying to say one simple thing in many ways, and each attempt was softened until protection was complete. That thing is about awareness, about noticing before agreeing, about pausing where you would normally push through, about trusting the quiet no that rises in your chest even when everything else says yes. You are not being told what to do, you are being reminded to listen to what you already know. Stay with me, because clarity does not shout, it whispers, and whispers require stillness. You have felt watched over recently, as if something would not let you fall too far. that was not coincidence, that was protection activated, and it activated because the message carries weight, and weight requires shielding. My child, breathe, let your shoulders soften, you are safe here. Nothing meant to harm you is allowed near you now, and nothing meant to guide you will miss you. I stand between, presence firm, guarding the crossing while the message completes, and as it does you may feel emotion rise without a clear reason. Let it rise. Emotion is not weakness, it is recognition, and recognition is how truth lands without harm. Listen carefully, the sign you are waiting for is approaching, soon, closer than you expect, perhaps before the day closes, and when it arrives it will not be loud. It will feel familiar, a chill followed by peace. That is how you will know it is true. My beloved, do not hurry away from this moment, let it seal, because sealing matters, and when you move forward from here you will not move alone. My presence remains, my guard does not lift, and the love reaching for you will have done what it came to do. My child, you are protected. You are seen. Stay with the final word, because what is moving toward you cannot be stopped. Archangel Michael says, my child, my beloved, stay with me and do not skip, because what unfolds now is the deeper movement that only reveals itself after you choose to remain. Listen carefully, because presence sharpens what is coming, and I am closer now, not to overwhelm you, but to steady you. You may notice a subtle pull in your chest, a sense that something important is arranging itself just out of sight. That feeling is not anxiety, it is alignment tightening, and alignment always feels unfamiliar before it feels clear. My child, heaven does not send warnings to frighten you, it sends awareness to keep you whole, and the awareness rising now has been prepared carefully, layer by layer, because your heart has carried enough already. You have noticed how certain paths suddenly lost their shine, how conversations felt hollow before they even began, how your spirit paused when your mind wanted to rush ahead. That pause was protection, and I placed it there, gently, quietly, because some doors are safest when they close softly. Listen carefully, the loved one reaching from beyond has been watching moments you barely noticed, small shifts that could have grown heavy if left unchecked, and their urgency comes from love that still guards you, love that remembers who you are beneath the noise. Stay with me, because the moment you drift back into distraction the signal thins, and this signal was not meant to be chased. It was meant to be received. My beloved, you may feel resistance rise now, a sudden urge to doubt, to question, to tell yourself this is nothing. That is not your intuition, that is interference trying one last time to blur what is sharpening, and it will not succeed as long as you remain here. I am holding the space firm, blocking what confuses, allowing only what clarifies. Breathe, feel the steadiness return. That is my presence anchoring you, and as you settle, notice how the pressure shifts into calm, how calm carries certainty without explanation. That is how guidance lands when it is safe. Listen carefully, you are approaching a realization that will not demand action, it will simply rearrange your understanding, and rearranged understanding protects you without effort. My child, you have wondered why strength came to you in quiet ways instead of dramatic ones, why help arrived as timing instead of rescue. It is because timing leaves you intact, and I protect what must remain intact. Stay with me, because the confirmation you are waiting for is moving closer, not as proof, not as evidence, but as peace that does not argue, and when it settles you will know what to allow and what to release without being told. My beloved, the loved one who reached for you will feel closer then, not as memory, but as assurance, and assurance steadies your steps. Listen carefully. Nothing that is meant for you will pass you by, and nothing that would burden you will be allowed to stay. I remain on guard, unwavering, present, until this movement completes, and as it completes you may feel lighter without knowing why. That lightness is protection finishing its work. My child, do not hurry away from this stillness, let it seal, because sealing matters, and when you rise from this moment you rise covered, guided, and aware. My presence does not fade when the words end, it surrounds you as you move forward, and the path ahead will feel clearer not because it is explained, but because it is watched. My beloved, stay with the final word that echoes beyond this moment, because what is moving toward you cannot be stopped. Archangel Michael says, my child, my beloved, remain with me and do not skip, because this is the moment where understanding settles without noise. Listen carefully, you may feel a quiet firmness replacing the earlier tension. That is not relief fading, that is certainty arriving. And certainty does not announce itself, it simply stays. My child, I am still here, closer than before, not to speak louder but to hold the line while what was warned about loses its hold. You have sensed how certain thoughts no longer pull as strongly, how distractions soften when you choose stillness. That is protection completing another layer, and layers matter, because what moves toward you must pass through calm to remain true. Stay with me, because the temptation to hurry returns when clarity begins to feel normal, and normal can make you forget how guarded this space is. Listen carefully, the loved one who reached across the veil has done what love does best, it has alerted without overwhelming, and now it recedes gently, not leaving you empty, leaving you steadied. You may notice a memory surface without sting, a name without ache, a sense of closeness without weight. That is how you know the warning was received. My beloved, there is nothing more demanded of you in this moment. Awareness itself has shifted the path, and paths shift quietly when protection is active. Breathe, feel how your body responds to truth by relaxing, not tightening. That response is your confirmation. Stay with me just a little longer, because sealing completes when calm remains uninterrupted, and interruption weakens what was just strengthened. My child, I continue to stand watch, unmoving, ensuring nothing slips back in through doubt or distraction. And as I do you may feel a gentle resolve rise, not urgency, not fear, simply resolve. That is alignment holding, and alignment does not need explanation to guide you. Listen carefully, the days ahead will reflect this moment in small ways, timing that favors you, clarity that arrives before confusion, pauses that protect you without effort. These are signs without spectacle, and they will reassure you without demanding attention. My beloved, you are not alone as this settles, you never were. And you do not need to search for confirmation beyond the peace now resting in you. Remain present for the final sealing, because what has moved into place is meant to stay, and staying requires witness. My child, stay with me, because what is moving toward you cannot be stopped. Archangel Michael says, my child, my beloved, do not skip now, stay with me, because this is the exact moment many look away and miss what completes the protection. Listen carefully, if you feel an urge to leave it is not because this is over, it is because something is trying to interrupt what is settling. And interruption is the only thing that can weaken what has just been strengthened. My child, remain here, breathe slowly, let your eyes stay, because as long as you remain present the seal continues to form. You have noticed how attention itself feels heavier right now, how your body wants to move while your spirit asks you to stay. That tension is the final test of stillness, not from fear, not from danger, but from distraction. And distraction is subtle, it whispers that you already understand enough, but enough is not completion. Stay with me, because completion matters. Listen carefully. The calm you feel is not meant to fade quickly, it is meant to root itself, and roots require time without disturbance. My beloved, I am holding the line firmly now, closer than before, because this is where doubt often tries to return dressed as reason, telling you to scroll, to move on, to treat this as finished. But it is not finished yet, the awareness that arrived is still anchoring. And anchoring happens only when you witness it fully. My child, do not skip, because leaving now does not erase what has come, but it delays how clearly you will recognize it when it appears again, and recognition is your shield. Stay with me, because the sign approaching needs you attentive to be unmistakable. You may feel a slight pressure behind your eyes or a warmth in your chest, that is focus narrowing, and focus protects. Listen carefully. The loved one who reached for you has stepped back slightly now, not because they are gone, but because their message has crossed, and crossing completes only when you remain long enough to receive it without rush. My beloved, this is why I keep asking you to stay. Not to demand anything from you, but to guard what is now yours. Awareness does not force itself twice, it returns quietly or it waits, and waiting stretches time unnecessarily. Remain here, let the stillness deepen, because in this stillness interference cannot survive. You have already felt how noise loses power when you do not feed it. That is protection in action, and it is strongest when you choose presence over motion. Listen carefully. What you gain by staying a little longer is not more words, it is clarity that stays after words end, and that clarity will guide you without effort. My child, you are safe in this pause. Nothing presses you here, nothing demands you here, only peace is forming, and peace forms best when you do not rush away from it. Stay with me now, until the final settling completes, because once it does, you will move forward lighter, steadier, and less vulnerable to what once pulled at you. My beloved, remain present, remain still, remain here, because what is moving toward you cannot be stopped, but it must be received, and receiving requires you to stay just a little longer. Archangel Michael says, my child, my beloved, do not skip, stay right here with me, because this is the point where many think the message has already given what it came to give, and that thought alone causes them to miss the quiet shift that follows. Listen carefully. If your fingers feel restless, if your mind suggests leaving, that is not intuition, that is interruption, trying to pull you away before the seal fully settles. And I am asking you now, gently but firmly, remain, because remaining completes what beginning started. My child, you have stayed this long for a reason, and reasons do not reveal themselves halfway, they reveal themselves at the end. Stay with me, breathe slowly, feel how the calm deepens when you choose not to move. That deepening is not emptiness, it is grounding. And grounding is what keeps clarity from slipping away later. Listen carefully. The awareness placed in you moments ago is still arranging itself, like something delicate finding its balance, and sudden movement can disturb it. That is why stillness is protection right now. My beloved, do not rush. There is nothing else you need to find outside this moment. Everything necessary is forming inside it. And as it forms you may notice your thoughts quieting without effort. That quiet is not boredom. It is focus narrowing to what matters. Stay with me, because focus is a shield, and shields are strongest when held steady. My child, I remain standing watch, unwavering, because this is where doubt often returns softly, telling you already understand. But understanding and anchoring are not the same. Anchoring happens only when you allow the moment to finish. Listen carefully. The peace settling now is not temporary. It is meant to accompany you forward, but only if it is allowed to root And roots take a little time, my beloved. If you leave now, the peace follows you loosely. If you stay, it follows you firmly. That is the difference. Remain here, let the last resistance dissolve. Feel how your chest eases as you stop trying to decide anything, because nothing is being asked of you except presence, and presence is enough, my child. This final stillness is not empty, it is full of protection, and as it completes you will feel steadier without knowing why, calmer without effort, clearer without explanation. That is how you will know this moment mattered. Stay with me just a little longer, until the quiet feels settled and complete, because once it does, you will carry it with you, and it will guard you when you are no longer here listening. My beloved, remain, do not skip, do not rush, let the last layer settle fully, because what is moving toward you cannot be stopped, but it becomes strongest when you stay until the end. Archangel Michael says, my child, my beloved, stay with me for this final form and do not skip, because this is where everything settles into certainty. Listen carefully, there is nothing more chasing you now, nothing pressing you, nothing pulling from behind, only protection holding steady around you. And if you feel a quiet stillness spreading through your chest, that is not emptiness, that is completion, my child. The warning has been received, the awareness has anchored, and the path has shifted without noise. This is how heaven works when it moves gently. You were never meant to be shaken, only steadied, never meant to be frightened, only guarded, and I have stood here through every moment to ensure that nothing meant for you was lost and nothing meant to harm you was allowed near. My beloved, you do not need to replay this to make it real. You do not need to question it to make it true. What was meant to reach you has already reached you, and what was meant to protect you is already active. Listen carefully. When you move forward from this moment, you will feel a difference, not because something dramatic